Hey guys, how's it going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're talking about my top 5 favourite maps and game modes in Battlefield 4. Now there's plenty of great maps in this game and some that aren't so great, but these 5 stand out for me as some of the best. I don't exclusively play these maps and game modes, but when I do, I generally have more fun. But anyway, to get started, at number 5 is Rogue Transmission Conquest. Rogue Transmission is a great map to play on, especially with a few friends to help you out. There's a good balance of cover and long lines of sight, and a lot of different points of elevation to give you the advantage, but also to keep you on your toes. It's also not a bad map for sniping, and good snipers and even DMR users can go on very long kill streaks on this map while staying undetected. Close quarters infantry combat is great under the dish, and vehicles are able to dominate the lanes around the dish. The 2 main towers are destructible, which normally brings down the campers eventually, and all other areas of the map are pretty easily accessible. The only issue I have with this map is the fact that it's got a green tinge to it. I'm not sure whether this was intentional or it's just an oversight, but compared to the rest of the maps in game, it looks kind of strange. At number 4 is Siege of Shanghai Obliteration. Shanghai is a great map, but the reason I like the Obliteration mode so much is because it takes out the main tower from the equation. Anyone who's used an elevator in Battlefield 4 knows that the best course of action is almost always not to use the elevators at all. Because there isn't a real reason to keep the central tower populated in this game mode, there's less chance of door campers, and you can actually use the tower to tactically parachute to other locations. Each objective will throw you into CQB combat, and the lanes to and from these objectives will usually require you to take longer range shots. Vehicles can be an issue for infantry along these lanes, but they'll also be disadvantaged by various choke points. The only real problem with this map is the various high rooftops that are inaccessible without using the tower or a helicopter. But like I said before, having use of the tower to access these areas makes the map a whole lot more enjoyable. And coming in at number 3 is Railway TDM. Now you'd think that considering the Conquest version of this map is one of the largest maps in the game, that I'd prefer it over the TDM version. But to be honest, I actually don't like the Conquest map that much because it's one of those maps where infantry players are at a big disadvantage to vehicles. The TDM mode takes the best location for infantry combat on this map and then eliminates all the vehicles. This map balances mid to long range lines of sight with just enough CQB action to keep you on your toes, and I think it's one of the few TDM maps in Battlefield 4 where tactics play a bigger role than luck. Nearly all of the buildings on this map are destructible and easily accessible, so while they may provide short-term cover for campers, they're not always completely a safe haven. So all things considered, it's just a good all-round map for infantry players. At number 2 is Zavod 311 Obliteration. This map, in my opinion, has something for every playstyle. Inside and under the main buildings is great for close quarters weapons, and outside of the buildings is perfect for long range slow firing weapons. Stealth players will also get a kick out of this map because it's large enough and also dense enough to allow you to flank the enemy pretty easily. Vehicles have an advantage when it comes to delivering the bomb, but the good news is that there's plenty of choke points where infantry players can slow them down. The only problem I have with this map is that it's sometimes pretty difficult to take out campers on top of the 2 buildings, which is a place they can really do some serious damage from. I'd recommend switching to the XM25 Airburst as soon as you spot the first guy sniping up there, because they'll throw down a spawn beacon and multiply very quickly if you let them. And finally, at number 1 is Operation Firestorm Conquest. I loved Firestorm in BF3 and I still love it now. The centre of the map has continuous cover for infantry, and there's plenty of elevated areas which are just high enough to give players an advantage, but not isolated enough to let them camp there indefinitely. On Conquest Large, vehicle players have a big advantage taking out the outlying objectives, but on the main objectives they'll be exposed to mines and sneak attacks from engineers in the choke points between buildings. It's also hands down one of the best sniping maps in the game, whether you want to snipe aggressively or go for long range shots with a bipod. The only criticism I have with this map is that the hills in front of each deployment and the Firestorm Tower are a magnet for noob recons, so you're bound to lose at least a few team members to these tempting but ridiculously obvious sniping locations. But anyway, that's it for my top 5 maps and game modes. If you haven't tried out any of these game modes or maps, or you don't get around to them as much as you'd like, then this is a good excuse to give them a go. But before you do, make sure to let me know what you think in the comment section below, and let me know what your top 5 maps are. I'll be back very soon with a top 5 least favourite maps video too, so feel free to let me know what your least favourite maps are in the comments as well. But anyway, as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. And if you have any suggestions for weapons or loadouts that you'd like to see in upcoming videos on this channel, then feel free to let me know in the comment section of this video or send me a tweet on Twitter at BillyEatWorld. And until next time, see you later and have a good one.